I'm live. Okay, we are back to the Chronicles of Narnia, the Magician's Nephew, and we are on chapter 4. And the title of the chapter is The Bell and the Hammer. Have no idea what that has anything to do with. Last time we looked, Dickory and Polly were gone to another world. Actually, to an in between world. Okay, there was no doubt about the magic this time. Down and down they rushed, first through darkness and then through a mass of vague and whirling shapes which might have been almost anything. It grew lighter, then suddenly they felt that they were standing on something solid. A moment later, everything came into focus, and they were able to look about them. What a queer place, said Diggory. I don't like it, said Polly, with something like a shudder. What they noticed first was the light. It wasn't like sunlight, and it wasn't like electric light, or lamps, or candles, or any other light they had ever seen. It was a dull, rather red light, not at all cheerful. It was steady and did not flicker. They were standing on a flat paved surface and did not, oh, a flat paved surface, and buildings rose all around them. There was no roof overhead, and they were in a sort of courtyard. The sky was extraordinarily dark, a blue that was almost black. When you had seen that sky, you wondered that there should be any light at all. It's very funny weather here, said Diggory. I wonder if we've arrived just in time for a thunderstorm or an eclipse. I don't like it, said Polly. Both of them, without quite knowing why, were talking in whispers, and though there was no reason why they should still go on holding hands after their jump, they didn't let go. Both of them, without quite knowing why, were talking. Oh, I just read that, didn't I? The walls rose very high all around that courtyard. They had many great windows in them, windows without glass, through which you saw nothing but darkness. Oh, black darkness. Lower down, there were great pillared arches. I'll show you the picture. It's on the front of this chapter. Very interesting picture for this chapter. Okay, so this book is heavy. Ah, lower down, there were great pillared arches, yawning blackly like the mouths of railway tunnels. It was rather cold. The stone of which everything was seemed to be red, but that might only be because of the curious light. It was obviously very old. Many of the flat stones that paved the courtyard had cracks across them. None of them fitted closely together, and the sharp corners were all worn off. One of the arched doorways was half filled up with rubble. The two children kept on turning round and round to look at the different sides of the courtyard. One reason was that they were afraid of somebody or something looking out of those windows at them when their backs were turned. Do you think anyone lives here? Said Diggory at last, still in a whisper. No, said Polly. It's all ruins. We haven't heard a sound since we came. Let's stand still and listen for a bit, suggested Diggory. They stood still and listened, but all they could hear was the thump thump of their own hearts. This place was at least quiet as the wood between the worlds, but it was a different kind of quietness. The silence of the wood had been rich and warm. You could almost hear the trees growing and full of life. This was a dead, cold, empty silence. You couldn't imagine anything growing in it. Let's go home, said Polly. But we haven't seen anything yet, said Diggory. Now we're here, we simply must have a look. I'm sure there's nothing at all interesting here. There's not much point in finding a magic ring that lets you into other worlds if you're afraid to look at them when you've got there. There's Well, who's talking about being afraid? Said Polly, letting go of Diggory's hand. I only thought you didn't seem very keen on exploring the place. I'll go anywhere. You go. We can get away the moment we want to, said Diggory. Let's take off our green rings and put them in your right hand pocket. All we've got to do is to remember that our yellows are in our left hand pockets. You can keep your hand as near your pocket as you like, but don't put it on or you'll touch your yellow and vanish. They did this and went quickly up to one of the big arched doorways which led into the inside of the building. And when they stood on the threshold and could look in, they saw it was not so dark inside as they had thought at first. It led into a vast, shadowy hall which appeared to be empty. But on the far side there was a row of pillars with arches between them, and through those arches there streamed in some more of the same tired looking light. They crossed the hall, walking very carefully, for fear of holes in the floor, of anything lying about that they might trip over. It seemed a long walk. When they had reached the other side, they came out through the arches and found themselves in another and larger courtyard. I think I'm going to come back and finish this chapter a little bit later. So until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and grant you his peace.